Hey guys, my name is Tyler, and this is my research artifact for Watts 1000 at Seattle University for spring of 2016. So for my research artifact, I decided to research what is the future of the internet look like. As of right now, if you think about it, we are so connected. For example, you're viewing this video that I'm shot on my phone on the internet because you clicked on a link and that was how it was delivered to you, and it got to you in a relatively fast fashion, actually pretty fast. So as of right now, what's next? How is it going to work? So before we get too much into what's actually going to happen, I think it's important to know where we came from. The World Science Festival provides a great example of how an internet request works and how the file of a web page gets to your device. Whatever device you are on is known as the client. The client needs to send the server of the website you are visiting a request for the web page file. A server is a computer that contains the file for the web page that you want to look at. Your device sends this request inside of a packet. Inside the packet contains specific information about the request, including the website's IP address. An IP address is like the street address for a server's location. This request is sent from your computer to your modem, then down copper wires to the nearest internet hub. The internet hub looks at the request from the packet and routes it towards the location of the server where the file is. The internet hub is what is connected to the fiber optic cable that is laid very deeply across the ocean. The internet hub will then send the data to the other side of the fiber optic cable. The second internet hub then receives the request and sends the request to the proper location of the server. The server then views the request and sends the file of the web page back. Because sending the file all together in the request would take too long and the file would be too big, the file gets broken down into tiny pieces and sent back to the client. Each tiny packet of information takes the fastest way possible on the journey back. This entire journey takes place every time you click on something online. In 2013, the United States ranked 25 out of 39 of the developed nations for internet speed, yet all this happened in a very quick time. Currently, copper wire is what connects us to the internet hubs. The use of copper wire for communication has dated all the way back to 1850. Queen Victoria had British engineers lay a cable across the English Channel and used it to send a message. Because the message was sent at a rapid rate of 12 words per minute, it wasn't used very frequently. Later, the engineers thought they had figured out what had gone wrong, and the world's largest ship, called the Great Eastern, took off in July of 1865. They set off with a crew of 500 carrying a 2,800-mile cable that weighed 5,000 tons. They had almost finished laying it when the cable snapped. They tried again the next year and then succeeded. As soon as 1858, a wire cable was laid across the Atlantic. Queen Victoria then sent a 100-word message to President James Buchanan. Part of the message came through that day, but the rest of the message came through the following. The cable was short-lived and lasted 3 unreliable weeks.
Always be sure that you have the right number. Consult your directory for any number you're not sure of.
Cable laying eventually continued through the 19th century and into the 20th. In 1956, a telephone cable went across the Atlantic.
The future can be found in many places, and made from the metal and the wire, the time and the effort of those who are privileged to create it. This is a business that is always dealt in the future. That's the way Alexander Graham Bell thought of it when the business was started back in 1876.
If you recall from earlier, copper wiring is still around. It's still utilized. If you think about it, we're currently able to accomplish so much at such a rapid speed, yet we've only just scratched the surface of what present-day technology exists. In 2013, the University of Southampton achieved a throughput of 73.7 terabits per second, traveling at 99.7% of the speed of light through an optical fiber. Even more cool, services like Google Fiber have already started. Google Fiber is already in certain cities and is looking to expand to even more. You could experience download speeds like this. No more of this. What the f? So why aren't we all living the buffer-free life? Well, construction is meticulous and takes a while. According to an article from Business Insider, back in 2012, it would cost Google $140 billion, over 3 times the amount of money Google has on hand, to cover the entire United States in a fiber optic network. It was estimated to have taken $94 million to cover Kansas City with fiber optic networks. For approximately $70 a month, you could have a 1 gig per second internet speed. When you look comparatively at current rates, Comcast right now, you would get 150 megabytes per second. The amount of data that can be routed at that speed would allow for so many more possibilities for us as developers. No longer having the obstacle of buffer times, as well as the takeoff of content like 4K and even in the future with VR.
For at least a minute or about 10 rings to give the person you're calling time to answer. If the number dialed is busy, you will hear the familiar busy signal.
There was the problem of finding a new spot for the operators who handled the manual switchboards that preceded dial. What happened to the operators? There are thousands more today than there were before dial. More improvements in telephone service mean more calls to handle. More calls mean more jobs to do, but for those who help to make that service possible as well. People like Frank Dubrovnik, cable inspector. Mary Jane Holmes, service representative.